Hello, algorithm. It's Monday night, and guess what? Tonight is going to be ladies' night. We have two of our legal beagles joining us tonight, and they are both females. So even though we usually get them on Friday, we got them here on this very robust Monday night. Welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I'm Al, and I will be your judge, and you, the people, will be the jury. You know, right here in the Court of Public Opinion is where you, the people's voices, can and will be heard. All right, for those who are not familiar with the Court of Public Opinion, think about it kind of like Nancy Grace meets Rapid Fire. We go through a host of stories of celebrities who are in trouble with the law, and we give our opinion, and we also give our verdict if they're guilty or not guilty in the Court of Public Opinion. Be sure to hit that like button. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you are subscribed, be sure to hit that share button. Don't forget to turn on your notifications and jump in those comments because, as always, we love to hear what you have to say. Let's meet our two legal beagles. First up, we have that fiery civil attorney, Shatan Turner. Welcome back to the Court of Public Opinion.
Hey,
That's
Simone.
Bailiff. Shatan, did Shatan drop off?
Shatan dropped out. She dropped off.
Okay, cool. All right, and welcome. No introduction needed. Girl, is that legal? Simone Redwine. Welcome back to the Court of Public Opinion.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for having me back.
All right, Simone. I guess we're gonna wait until we'll check and see if she is gonna be able to sign back in with us. But first up, Simone, we got quite a few interesting stories today. We're going to talk about Naomi Campbell, if she did or did not misappropriate funds. We're going to talk about Laura Govan being duped by what's his name? By her
Gilbert Arenas.
Gilbert Arenas' ex-husband. We're also going to talk about the beef between Drake and Kendrick Lamar. They're both suing each other now. We're going to talk about Jussie Smollett, his show. They're doing a media tour. We're going to talk about his show and his sentencing and why he's not in jail. And then we're going to close the evening talking about Diddy because his defense attorney said Diddy wants to testify. And wow, we know that's very interesting because that's against all legal advice that anybody would be giving him at this time. All right. Did Shatan Turner make it back? All right, this is her coming in now. All right.
Welcome back.
Miss Turner.
I got so excited, Your Honor. I accidentally clicked you off.
All right, welcome back, Attorney Turner. All right, everybody, don't forget to put those emojis, that fire emoji in the chat for Shatan Turner, that red wine emoji for the one, the only Simone Redwine, and the facts emoji for me, the judge with all the facts. All right, court is now in session. All right, first up, geez, what is going on? America's best, largest, longest living supermodel, Naomi Campbell. Welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. Naomi Campbell's situation involves several potential legal and not only legal, but regulatory violations under UK's charity laws, specifically concerning the management and governance of her charitable organizations. All right, Attorney Shatan Turner, you work for a big organization, which is a nonprofit. Talk to us about what the accusations are here. And honestly, it's her charity. It's her traveling. Isn't it kind of her money? So why should she be in trouble with the money that she's been able to raise with her name for her charity to have a couple of spa vacations? I mean, a couple of spa treatments, stay in super nice hotels. And what's wrong with buying a pack of cigarette or two?
Well, smoking can kill you. So we just think there's a lot wrong with, having smoking in general. So here's the thing. When you have a charity, and this is the same in the UK as it is here, there is a presumption, and in how they're set up is that you're supposed to be using the funds for a charitable purpose. So you declare what your charitable purpose is, and then those funds are supposed to promote that purpose. If they find that the charity itself is some sort of fraud or cover for, padding your pockets and or helping you a lavish lifestyle, right, then they're going to come after you. And so that's what happened here. In the UK, apparently they take it seriously enough that they have a separate agency that exists for the sole purpose of policing charities, because maybe they're a little more shady in the UK than we think. I don't know. But yeah, you introduced Naomi as one of the longest American supermodels. But remember, she's British. So that's why her nonprofit was over there, because she's British and she set it up and it was supposed to exist for this purpose. She says that she is going to contest this decision, which is really based on misappropriation of funds and misallocation of those funds at a minimum for, lavish lifestyle and spa treatments, and cigarettes. Who smokes these days? Like, really? Who smokes? Really?
Well, don't ask Simone, because I was begging for a cigarette around her.
Yeah, Al, you need to stop smoking those kind of cigarettes. I hear the other ones are all natural. And so
Simone, I want to ask you this question. Simone, I want to ask you this question really quickly, though, because the issue here is she's the trustee, correct? And as the trustee, she has a fiduciary responsibility, and that's what separates her from like just basically running the organization, right? And we also have found that only 8% of all the money that the charity raised actually goes to the charity. Is this where she is in the most hot water for this particular misappropriation and mismanagement?
Look, the problem is this bitch was stealing. Okay, she was stealing. Supermodel steal too. What was that girl? Winona Ryder. She was one of the first supermodel thieves. Okay, only 8% of the charity funds raised by this entity actually were spent on charity. This lady got donations and put it in her pocketbook. That's effectively what she did. Okay, your tax rate is higher than 8%. So, and she spent it on things like, she was at a hotel for 3 days and had over $10,000 worth of charges. Room service, spa, the most elite room. Bitch, that's not what a charity is supposed to do. And she's had this for years. So yes, she needed this and she needed to be outed for this. And this is not just some little technicality. That bee was stealing.
Right. Now, what do we think about this whole concept where she's saying, hey, I didn't really know what was going on. I had a lawyer that was in charge of this charity. Do we believe that? So could it be possible, like a part of her defense could be, listen, I was just out here being the trustee. I was just out here being the face. So being the face, I stayed in a hotel. I didn't know I was spending up all the money. No one told me that I was using.
Here's why she knows she a lie. Because her excuse was, I hired a lawyer. My lawyer was over all that. No, you know how much money you raised, and you know how the money was allocated, and you know how you personally spent the funds. And that was the problem.
Attorney Chatan. Yes. Then what do we make of her statement? Her statement in the press is that all the money that she raises goes to charity. That's what she said.
Well, I mean, I don't want to bring up the past, but, Ms. Campbell has had an interesting relationship with the trust. The concept, or not to like rake her over the coals, but I mean, this is the same woman who was like in court because she threw a cell phone and hit her assistant in the face, I believe. And she had a reputation for being a beautiful hot mess for a long time. And so the problem is as Ms. Redwine indicated, right, Simone? A charity that's only giving 8% of the funds to charity is no charity at all, right? Anybody would be better off having just thrown the money out the window, because it doesn't exist for the purpose of being a charity. 92%. That means, like, if you get a 92% at any school besides UVA, where they would like dock you and give you a B+, but at those lesser schools, they would give you an A if you got a 92%, right? So they spent most of the money for something else. And I'm not saying it was for her, right? It wasn't all for spa treatments. It probably was for other things, but like that's exactly the opposite of the rate that most charities strive for. So charities strive to give at least 90%, if not more than 90% for charitable purposes. So this is completely lopsided. Like it's kind of like me, Simone, and you saying, okay, we're going to run the court of public opinion as a nonprofit, and then we're going to take 5% and give it to some broke people and take 95% and ball in Ibiza and be like, hey, it's a charity.
Literally.
Well, listen. One thing that we can't do, Simone, is pretend like people don't create nonprofits. People don't create charity organizations to run, to pad their lifestyle. No.
Absolutely. I mean, in fact, now with the debt forgiveness rules in America regarding student loan forgiveness, some people are creating nonprofits just to help them get their student loans waived. Because after you've made 120 payments, which is paying for 10 years, and you've worked for a nonprofit for 10 years, and you can combine nonprofit, government, doesn't have to be the same entity, then you're eligible to have the rest of your student loans waived. Yep.
Wow.
Y'all, I have to just call out one of the comments in the chat, though. Somebody said Naomi Campbell is the Suge Knight of the modeling world. Yes. Jail and everything. Yeah, not the Suge Knight.
Not the Suge Knight. Yeah, she's been bossing for a long time. Always wondered how she lives such a very extravagant lifestyle, nonstop, without skipping a beat, without a hiccup. And now this could be some explanation to it. All right, let's keep it moving. Next up in the court of public opinion, Gilbert Arenas. Welcome to the court of public opinion. The rumor has it that Gilbert Arenas gave his ex-wife, Laura Govan, who is back on Basketball Wives LA, and causing up such a stir for allegedly sleeping with Shaquille O'Neal, Shawnee, her best friend's husband, while they were best friends, was given a $400,000 engagement ring. They broke up, and allegedly, according to the reports, she didn't want to give it back. So he made up, not that he wanted to make up, but he made up in an attempt to get the ring back and replace it with a replica, which was a fake diamond ring. Wow, the story gets juicy. Well, Laura Govan said, no, sir, not today. She sued him. And it did not work. Now I'm going to go to you, Simone Redwine. Now, help me understand this, because I was under the impression, right, that his giving her a real ring, deceiving her, thinking that he wanted to get back together, only to swap out the real ring with the fake ring, would be considered deceptive practices in the court of law. And also that deceptive practice would be considered fraud. No. And some argue breach of contract.
Mm-hmm. So ordinarily, like, this is actually one of the quintessential perfect types of questions for a law school exam. Ordinarily, you'd be right. Here is the exception to the rules you are describing. The exception is engagement. An engagement ring is a contract to be married. So once it is determined that because he proposed, had 4 kids with the woman, 5 kids, I think, and then took the ring back a week later, meaning decided we are not getting married. Because that happened under those facts and this situation, the contract to get married had terminated. Therefore, he was entitled to his ring back. So he was basically just stealing back something he already owned.
Well, hold on, counselor. Hold on, counselor. No, now that's it. How about conversion?
You can't convert something that's yours. It became his the moment they called off the engagement.
Oh, wow. So hold on. Oh, let's listen up. Soulmates. Oh, I mean, not soulmates. Algorithms. Come on, algorithms. This is good. Okay, because I was always under the impression, no, this is really good. I was always under the impression that if you proposed to someone with an engagement ring, that was a proposition of a contract, right? And if you gave them the ring and you decided to call it off, you're the one that broke the contract. So what you're saying is that's not the case. So
unless in my situation where I had to call it off because he scammed me, he stole all the money, but that's another story. So in the example that you're saying, if he calls it off or she calls it off, doesn't matter who, he gets the ring back because the agreement was this is our think of it like like an escrow payment on a real estate transaction, right? You're putting a down payment with the expectation we're going to close. If we don't close, I get my down payment back in most instances.
Okay, but hold on. Listen, I'm getting excited as if I got the ring. All right, but I'm talking about conversion. Okay, so tell me, does conversion not? I thought conversion was if you unauthorized, meaning you took or used someone else's property without their permission. Like he went back.
It does not apply to engagement rings. An engagement ring contract is an exception to the general contract rules. So if he gave her this ring for her birthday, you would be absolutely right. She would have won that lawsuit if he had given her this ring on her birthday. It would have been a birthday gift. Can't take that back. But because an engagement ring is a contract to be married, and they decided they wanted to cancel the contract before getting married, he gets the ring back. If they had been married even one day, even 1 hour, she gets to keep the ring. But because they never got married, she gets it.
One of our algorithms said, isn't the ring considered a gift to her?
No, it is a contract. If he had given it to her on her birthday, if he had given it for Valentine's Day, that's why they tell people do not propose on Valentine's or Christmas, because someone could argue, oh no, that was an engagement ring. That was a Christmas ring. That was a birthday or a Valentine's ring, in which case they would not have to return it.
Wow. So, okay, I just want to make sure this is clear. So if I'm hearing you correctly, just ladies for the ladies, and for the gentlemen, if you gave an engagement ring when that wedding or that engagement didn't go to a wedding, you are legally capable of getting your ring back with no issues. And ladies, just because he gave it to you doesn't mean that he gets to keep it. Am I hearing that right, Attorney Ross?
Attorney Ross?
He's Shatan.
Shatan Turner.
Oh. Where did that pop up? Yes, that is what Attorney Redwine indicated, and I think there may be some variation based on like the state that it's in, because I'm not sure if they all view it that way. Because I know some people who've been able to successfully keep it, but the part that has people
that's because nobody sued them,
feeling a little cringy about this one. But I
the
think
deception.
Genius. Yeah, I think is genius. Like Gilbert Arenas, I think he's got other issues, and he just proposed to somebody else, and they're like, I hope she made sure it was real, right? Because he might not be in the business of giving any real diamonds anymore. A $400,000 ring is not de minimis, and actually, I don't know that I've ever been in the presence of a $400,000 ring before, so I would just like to see it so that I can like touch it, and then maybe some of that good luck would come on to me, not for engagement purposes, just for the money. But because I ain't getting engaged. But the thing is that you got to think about this. He's a bit maniacal, right? The fact that he was like, I need my ring back. How can I get my ring back? I need to make her fall in love with me again, so I have privileges to stay over. So then I get her to take a shower or something. Like maybe he told her to go get a massage, she to take her rings off because she didn't want the oil on. And then he switches it out. And then she still thinks she has the ring and she don't have it anymore. All because he's going to break up. I know I normally take up for the woman, but the genius aspect of this, I think, is just amazing. And the funny thing is, for regular people, right? The ring he replaced it with still cost $10,000. So it's not like it was even cheap to make this $400,000 replica, but comparatively, he was in the good $390,000. So it worked out okay for him.
All right, last question. We're going to move on to the next topic.
Robbery, though. She tried to get him for robbery, and so that's where she fell short. I actually wonder if there may have been other legal theories that would have been more successful for her, but because it was his, as Attorney Redwine indicated, you can't steal something that's yours.
Well, I feel like she needed a better lawyer because I would have stacked it with fraud, conversion, and breach of contract. Sorry. But okay, so last question. So does this apply for divorce? So when the contract is been null or void, can he get his ring back?
Great question, but no,
ring is
because she
not
committed the
promised
act,
forever.
which is she married him.
I think
So
I'm
because
asking
she married him,
the wrong way. I'm asking the wrong women here. One's
the
going through
law
a
is
divorce,
the law.
and one didn't make it to the aisle. Y'all ain't asking the right women here.
Think about
I
it.
need
In
to
no
know.
divorce ever is someone required to return a ring. That's because they consummated the contract by getting married.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not a promise of forever. Now, for $400,000, he probably thought he was getting forever. But if she had just taken him to the justice of the peace and said, I do, and then outside was like, I don't, that would have been the smartest thing for Miss Govan. But yeah, I didn't know she was sleeping with like her friend's best man, her friend's ex-husband and all. So
Shaq.
Down with that.
Yeah, that to me was a shocker too. But I will tell you, if you look up in the dictionary, shut it down. You see that word in the dictionary, shut it down. You're gonna see Laura Govan's face because she shut it down. She was like,
What
"I'm
did
not
she shut
talking
down?
about it." She said, "I'm not talking about it, and don't ask me again." And the ladies, there was a hush fell over Jerusalem. All right, everybody, let's keep it moving. Next up, Kendrick Lamar and Drake. Welcome to the court of public opinion. Well, the deal here is both of them may have a viable case for suing each other for defamation based on their recent diss tracks. Several legal principles apply here, and we're going to go through them here. So first up, I want to talk about elements of defamation, ladies. I want you to talk about that first, but then I want to talk about, when I say elements of defamation, let's make sure we touch on false statements, because a lot of it is he say, she say, this is what I heard, this is what I was told. But then it becomes serious when it's publication, meaning when you go in the booth and you lay a track and then you publish it as a song. And in Kendrick's case, it's the #1 song of not only just the summer, but the year. All right, I want to talk about what's the difference between slander and libel. And then I want to also talk about the hyperbole and artistic expression, and does that protect them? Simone Redwine, all yours. Take it.
Okay, I just think that this little beef between the two of them is extra stupid. So allegedly, what's going on right now is Whack 100, who is a liar, claims that Drake's people sent Kendrick Lamar a cease and desist letter to prevent him from performing the song at the Super Bowl. And that is what kind of has brought this back into the forefront. So the way the law works here is with music is all about hyperbole. You know, when you say I shot my man with a gun because he was sleeping with the stripper on my back porch, nobody thinks you really shot your man with a gun because he was sleeping with the babysitter on the back porch or whatever. Right?
Done it.
So,
no, I wouldn't. My bad.
Oh yeah, no. So I think the challenge here is going to be, yes, there's hyperbole, but where Drake may be particularly upset is Kendrick called him a pedo, right? So that's an actual offense. It's a crime. It's something horrible.
Right. That's like actual malice. Right.
It could be, but in this example, I think it could be seen as the song is satire or the song is exaggeration, and that nothing is meant to be taken literally. And I think that's the difficulty. Plus, he started it, you finished it. So you're going to have a difficulty when you get to say all these things and then someone else comes back with hyperbole as well, both of which were hyperbole, and we have issues.
All right, let me ask you this, Attorney Turner. Let's talk about free speech. Let's talk about public interest in free speech. Like, does that protect them in any way? Even though they are public figures, because the one thing that we also have to factor into this is that they are public figures and they both are artists.
Yeah, so all of that should be factored in. And all I have is like, they're not like us playing over and over my head. I mean, one thing that I can definitely say is that Kendrick in particular, I didn't realize it was the #1 song of the year. Since it's the #1 song of the year, can I tell you how much he cares about defamation? 0, because he will be able to afford whatever he will have to pay Drake for this so-called defamation. Now, free speech is something that gets asserted when the government tries to silence you. It's not just something that, like, you have the right to express yourself, but when you assert that constitutional right, it's because the government tried to silence you and not because Drake is trying to silence you because he doesn't like what you said about him. One of the kind of nuanced things that I think is interesting about this, and I've been thinking about this since the song came out, because clearly I'm a nerd to my core, and as I told you before, I used to teach law school, and so I am sure that first-year tort students are studying these songs. And so finally, it's something that is not boring that gets them to do their work. But there's a concept called slander per se. So in this case, it's interesting because song lyrics are written down and they're verbalized. There are 2 types of defamation. There's slander and there's libel. Slander is what you say orally. Libel is what's written. So in this case, they may potentially have both claims.
Both.
Lyrics are written, right. Now, slander per se or libel per se is the concept that what is shared, right, is so damaging on the face of it that you have a claim. So calling someone a pedophile is kind of on that, right?
Right, exactly. So, all right, we're on the same page. Keep going. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Keep going.
I was going to say, so there's no like free speech argument that's going to cover
with that. Right, because that's considered harm, right? So you can marry that harm, right? Because Drake can actually say that statement, Simone Redwine, is this not true? That statement caused damage to his reputation. Like, there are millions on top of millions nationally and internationally that now believe that Drake is a pedophile. And I just feel like I felt that everything was above board until you start making those type of allegations. Because unfortunately, with everyone listening to the song and you having such an influence, that false statement to me is not only harmful, but it's also defamatory. So are you saying, Attorney Redwine, that ain't good enough?
No, I just think that there's a gray area here. There's going to be a gray area in music. Because music is, it is expected to be hyperbole. Nobody expects a rap song to be accurate. If that were the case, there would be so many police officers and so forth that could sue NWA and others saying, oh, well, he said I profiled him, but I really didn't. He says, LAPD is profiling. We're going to sue him. No, you can't do that.
Wait, Attorney Redwine.
Yeah.
Do you remember that old song? Because this used to be my jam, and I'm telling on myself because it was highly inappropriate. But the song that I think
back that thing up.
Well, that used to be my jam too. But no. This was a Tupac song that they didn't play on the radio. Remember, Hit 'Em Up? And Tupac, it was what they think got him killed because that's where he said that he screwed Faith Evans. Like, that entire song was a diss song to Biggie, and he even threw in something about Bushwick Bill and like all that stuff. And so there have been other songs, to Attorney Redwine's point, that have crossed the line. Now, Tupac got murdered, and so hopefully the rap game is done with that. But if I were Drake, if I were Drake's lawyer, call me Drake. I got a thing for light-skinned dudes.
There's no shame. Order in my court. Oh, wait. I'm light-skinned. Oh, this is a good thing. Never mind. Keep going, Castle. Wait a minute, bailiff. Come back to me because I forgot I got on my Drake braids. Oh,
hey. But yeah, I would try to hit Kendrick where he lives, and so not just don't perform it at the Super Bowl. Try to sue for him to never be able to perform that song with that line. That's what I would do, because that would cut at the heart of this entire thing for the whole industry. And that would be actionable, because you're right. I mean, over and over and over again, even my kids are calling Drake a pedophile. Like, how do you know about pedophile, right?
Right. Nope. I agree. I think you have a point there. And that's one of the main reasons. That's when I thought that they crossed the line. That's when I thought, in all honesty, I wanted to see some type of legal legal remedy to it, because, you know, that's like, to me, hitting below the belt. I think keep kids, keep elderly, keep those out of the conversation, and keep rape allegations and pedophilia allegations, unless they're true, out of the chat. All right, everybody, these likes aren't liking. Be sure to hit that like button. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you're not subscribed, hit that share button, because you see how good this conversation is. You're all learning something that you can take back to your own chat group. And drop down in these comments. I'm really liking the comments here. A lot of people are really engaged tonight with our show, and I love to see that. They just keep them coming. All right, next up. Oh, boy. This is a sad one.
Look who the cat drug in.
Oh, wait a minute. Is that Brian? Is that Attorney Brian Ross? Oh, Attorney Ross. Thank you for being late to court, sir.
Sanction him.
Right. And you're gonna come, and your mic is muted, sir.
Sorry, Judge. I apologize. I was in another courtroom, Your Honor. I do apologize for my tardiness. I had a guy.
A restaurant drinking great wine.
No. My client got caught. My client got caught sneaking across the border with 1,000 bottles of body oil, and I had to explain it to the court. Trafficking in body oil was a charge, so I had to clean that up, Judge. It went fine. I apologize. That we explained what it was for.
All right, welcome to the Court of Public Opinion.
Some of that body oil.
These ladies were wearing the men out without you. I'm glad you're here to help protect some of the male interests here. All right, next up, everybody, Jussie Smollett. Welcome back to the Court of Public Opinion. And Jussie Smollett is in the Court of Public Opinion because everyone wants to know, why is he walking around free? Why is he walking around free? Well, with one of the hoax, the largest hoax of the century. What I want to talk about here is, let's talk about the legal process. Let's talk about the appeal process. Why is Jussie Smollett still allowed to walk around, even though he has been convicted by the court's criminal defense attorney, Brian Ross?
Jussie Smollett, in the words of Dave Chappelle, Jussie Smollett.
It's Bussy Smollett.
Bussy Smollett. In the words, he's not only black, he's also French. He has filed appeals, and he continues to appeal the process. Today's word, algoriters, is supersedis. Everyone say supersedis. So when you are convicted of a crime, you can post what's called a supersedis bond, and the judge has discretion to release you on that supersedis bond and allow you to walk around. In this instance, the court has released him on a supersedis bond pending appeal. I don't know how many appeals he's got now. He keeps on going. But until he has finally said it's over, the supersedis bond allows him to be out of jail and walk around.
Got it. Attorney Shatan Turner, talk to me, though, about this perception of him living this great life. A lot of people are seeing him back on the red carpets, seeing him taking private planes to A, B, and Z to attend different events. How does that look for someone who has been charged and found guilty of a crime to be out here living your best life? Is it advised to be doing what he's doing? Like, he's on all the major networks promoting his new movie. Well, it's not new. It's been out for 3 years, but, you know, back promoting it again. What does that say to the courts as he continues to parade around as a free man, basically, until his sentencing?
You know, Mr. Smollett is likely one of the luckiest MFs that's ever walked the planet, right? Because of how he's out on bond. And, you know, Diddy couldn't get bond. But anyway, his optics don't matter as much because he's already been convicted and he's trying to get this on appeal. So what he's trying to do is to preserve his future and current income stream by remaining relevant. What I think is interesting, but he's playing the like Hollywood get out of jail free card, is like, who cares? Like, who wants to hear from him? Who wants him on the red carpet?
Not
like,
me.
I'm surprised he's not frozen out just because He lied, tried to get some other people in jail, and created this entire false narrative. So what I'm surprised is that the court of public opinion, not this show, but in general, is giving him a platform to speak. That's what I'm surprised about. And
well, I am too.
that under the circumstances really is that a judge allowed him to get that to get out on that. So it's a bad look for the justice system, I think, because someone like him is out there living his best life when other people who have fewer resources but have committed lesser offenses are in jail.
Simone Redwine, let's chime in here. What does stay of sentence mean?
It means that Jussie Smollett, that his sentence is not being effectuated right now. So basically, it's my understanding, and Brian Ross, feel free to correct me, but in this instance, he's got 5 felonies. However, his sentence was 150 days. When you have a sentence like that that's under a year, a court is more likely to consider whether to allow you to be out during appeal, particularly where it's nonviolent. This was a nonviolent, basically white collar type of offense. And so there's less risk for the judge that you're going to be running around beating people up beating people up aside their head. Okay. Also, as sensitive and all as he is, I don't think he's going to do too well in jail. Will he have a boyfriend or two? Of course. 150 days. Was that 4 months? I think that's 4 months.
He did 6 days.
A voluntary relationship, attorney Redwine.
Right.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with a little involuntary relations.
Oh, not at all. I mean, he's so cute. He's going to be the cutest one in that cell block. But also notably, I think the reason this has come back into the court of public opinion, right, in the media, is because he self-produced a movie that just came out, and it was just released this weekend and shown in New York. It's got Vivica.
You mean re-released?
Re-release. Oh, that means nobody watched it the first time. Sorry about that. But Vivica's in there, so that means it's gonna be soulful.
So, okay. Attorney Brian Ross, let me ask you this, because this has been my argument from the beginning. You guys know that I was a lead commentator on this particular hoax for the 5-part series on Fox Nation. For me, I feel like this has been going on like 5 years. That's half of a decade.
Forever.
Had he just taken and did what he was charged 5 years ago, we would have forgotten it. We would have turned the page. You would have served your time. We would have turned the page, and you would not have continued to stain your image. I say this all the time, and I said it on the documentary. He comes from one of the most successful families in Hollywood that has been creating, like attorney Simone Redwine, content. That family has been creating content in film and television for over 4 decades. His mother was a civil rights activist, and so was his father. They had friends like Angela Davis. They were friendly with all of the social activists and civil rights activists of our country and of our time. I just don't understand why you would take 5 years to continue to stain your family's legacy in this way. Attorney Brian Ross, tell me, what would have been your advice if you were his attorney?
I mean,
take your ass home.
My advice would have been, man, just do the weekend. You can't do probation. But no, I would honestly, he wants to keep on going. In his mind, he is not guilty. Like, people have to believe this. There are people out there who are caught on video. My clients, I'm like, I understand you told me you didn't do it, but do you see the dash cam showing you fighting the cop? Wasn't me. All right, man, that's cool. In his mind, he believes he's not guilty and or above the law, and that he should do no time in jail. He did 6 days out of 150 and lost it. My advice to him would be, look, if you want to spend $100,000 on appeal, go for it. You've already lost. Let's mitigate it. Let's mitigate that 150 down to 45, and you agree to work at the boys club every weekend for the next 3 years. All right.
And this would have been done. This would have done. Simone, do you think this has really damaged all the work that his family in Hollywood. You are a child star. You understand how hard it is to build these images and maintain them and have them span decades. Do you think that this has really eroded that family's reputation and hard work in Hollywood?
So the reason I'll say I do not think it eroded his family's reputation is because I never knew they had it in the first place.
Oh,
But
wow.
as it relates to his reputation, yeah. Also, that family got like 11 kids. There's like 9 of them, okay? Somebody's going to be a F up. Somebody's going to be a screw up. And I guess it's him. So if you got 9 kids, if one of them is kind of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, hey, the majority rules. You did a
Man,
good job.
Wow.
hey, Judge, that man didn't have, I did not know who Jussie Smollett was until that movie, that show came out. The show he was on. Empire. I watched a couple episodes. My wife watched it every week religiously. I was like, who is this guy? And then I saw it, and then Dave Chappelle did his stand-up, which was hilarious, by the way. And that really brought so as far as reputation goes, I gotta agree with you, Simone. Like, I didn't know what.
What was so interesting was when I was sitting on the panel and we were looking and studying all the documents, it was quite clear that the Fox executives had seen all of the reaction from the audience. The audience said they've had enough of Jussie Smollett, and that they made outbound calls. The Fox executive made outbound calls to Lee Daniels and say, hey, listen, you got to do something with this Jussie Smollett character. The constant in bed with men, kissing men, dealing with men are turning the viewers off. So the viewers, that's right, the viewers actually wanted him gone. So I'm thinking in my head that it was that led that conversation Lee Daniels had with him, because he was becoming the breakout star. But imagine the breakout star all of a sudden becoming the villain and no one wants to see him anymore. Yeah. So I would think that this is what led him to kind of create this travesty. I mean, with so many layers that just didn't make any sense, that it has now led him to where he is now. Speaking of led him to where he is now, P. Diddy. Oh gosh. Welcome back to the Court of Public Opinion. I feel like Diddy's going to be in the Court of Public Opinion for a long time. All right, Brian, you are a defense attorney. Well, his defense attorney said, listen, my client, against my advice, he wants to testify in his own criminal case. Attorney Brian Ross, civil defense attorney Brian Ross, tell us why, just 1 or 2 reasons why this may not be the best idea for Diddy. Now, the deal is, I understand, is his attorney says that Diddy 110% believes that he's innocent.
The guy wants to tell his side of the story right now. People want to take their stand in their own defense, and 9 times out of 10, I counsel them against it. It's your own right. You have a constitutional right for the United States Constitution, applicable to the states through each state constitution, to take this stand and tell your own story. But remember, people, when you get up on that stand, the government or whoever it may be, especially a criminal case, has the right to cross-examine you, and they can crawl all up in you. They can ask whatever they want that goes to their case, and they can pepper you, and they can destroy you, and they can put you in a corner where there's things you can never get back.
That you can recuperate, right?
Yeah. You stay off the stand. Diddy is feeling the heat. He can't stand this stain on his reputation. You look back at how traumatized he was when the Cassie video came out, right? I didn't do anything. I didn't do nothing wrong. It wasn't me. Boy, we see you kicking a girl on the ground in a fetal position in a hotel. It was the darkest time of my life. I can't even realize how bad I was. Come on, bro. Stop it. All right? So you're going to take the stand in your own defense. Be ready. They're going to pepper you. The government's going to go all over you. So I would advise him not to do it. And his lawyer has told him, I can't talk him out of it. So,
Simone,
you got to prep your client.
Yes,
so
Your Honor,
let me ask you a question. I'm gonna let you join in here, but let me ask you a question. If I was the prosecutor and he decided that he wanted to take the stand, all I would do is play the Cassie video over and over and over and over and over and over. What would be your strategy here?
Okay, so the judge wouldn't allow that. The judge would allow it to be played like once and then say anything more would be excessive.
Well, I would show 2 minutes of it, stop, and say, "Is that you? Is that you?"
Absolutely. So, and here's the thing: some Nowhere in the chat, like that's her name, Nowhere, said, "Attorney Redwine, didn't you predict that with his ego he'd want to take the stand?" Yes, I predicted that perhaps a week ago or so, or when this first happened, as far as the arrest. I said he's going to want to get on the stand. He's so arrogant. He's so accustomed to getting his way that he believes he can schmooze anyone. I also believe from the fact that, we saw that the one girl, Kalena, who used to be in the band with him, he called her 154 times. That was to convince her to say what he wanted to say. He believes he is persuasive, that there is no one more persuasive than him. And some legal tea. He's been shopping around for a new legal team. And it's my understanding that today he actually fired some key members of his legal team. He wants to add some Black attorneys, some people of color from around the nation that he just believes are the best of the best, not limited to New York. And so what I foresee is that you're right. If I were the prosecution, I want him to get his butt up there and I'll tear that up. Oh, I'm going to tear him up with lies. But also it's going to be interesting to see these new attorneys that he has on his team, because they're going to have to play a dual role. They're both going to have to defend him vigorously in court, but also in the court of public opinion, which for him right now matters as much, if not more.
I agree. Now, Attorney Shatan Turner, we were talking about it in the chambers, and I will go on the record and say this. When all the accusations came out originally, I really do believe, because of his influence in hip hop, on hip hop, and his influence in the African American community, and the way that he marketed himself, he really had the ability to beat these accusations. Now, hold on, everybody. I'm not saying I was in support of it. I was just saying his public persona was so strong and so deeply tied to the definition of our culture that there was a chance. However, we talked about in my chambers, what was that tipping point where we all were like, even if you were, you all of a sudden went, no, that was not right. And I think we came to the conclusion that it was the Cassie video. Is that in fact when maybe your public perception and in the court of public opinion that Diddy was found guilty the most?
Oh, absolutely. That video was damaging. And that would be Exhibit A. I mean, as Attorney Redwine indicated, they couldn't play it over and over again, but seeing it once does paint the picture. But see, if you're Diddy, right, you think to yourself, you're a self-made man. You'd have none of this without your efforts, your charm, and your gregariousness. And you're not going to want to put your fate in the hands of anybody else, including your lawyers, because you think you're smarter. That's actually his weakest point. But he also has had a track record of betting on himself and winning. And so that's why he wants to do it. The other thing is this. We've been down this path before when there been a famous Black man who's accused of something and everybody thought he was going to prison. And if it didn't fit, you got to acquit, right? So that's why he got some Black lawyers now. He like, where's Johnny Cochran? Can we exhume him from the grave so he can come and get me what he did?
I know that's right.
OJ killed that white girl and I didn't do this stuff. So I want somebody who's going to give me what OJ got. The problem is that, in all seriousness, Diddy is probably not recognizing that the man that he was perceived to be is no longer that in the current opinion. And so his image has been so badly tarnished, and there's been so many allegations by so many people, and there's so many witnesses, and there's been so much baby oil. And so now
Hello.
like
y'all are a mess.
The public opinion has just changed. And I think he's lost the credibility and goodwill that he had with most people. And I agree with Attorney Ross. He should sit there. He should be quiet. He should wear a nice suit and he should cry.
God.
Yes. Okay, so counselors, can we say this in general then, okay? If you guys were representing him, and Simone might call you tomorrow, if you were representing him, seriously, I would play to what the public opinion is and not what the legal ramifications are. I would lead with trying to prove or change the public opinion verdict, and then work my way back to the legal verdict, and have like your super lawyers, your super smart lawyers, have them play into the nuances of filing and what did you put this in time and the statute of limitation and all that type of stuff. But if you're going to use your black attorneys, let your black attorneys play legally shuffle the public opinion legalities. What do you guys think about that?
I think it makes sense if you are betting on one issue, being the color of your lawyer's skin playing a factor, right? I mean, Johnny Cochran was, in my mind, the greatest legal mind we've seen, and he was a black man. That's my opinion. I'm sure there's others who would have a different opinion, but he was a brilliant trial. Ironically, his last criminal case was the one with Diddy, which is funny, right? But Diddy filed an appeal on his bond. I don't know if you addressed earlier on his bond today. He filed it in the second DCA, the second District Court of Appeal. There's still a chance he gets out of jail. And I think if he gets out of jail, he has a better chance. I think he's behind bars. I think he's frustrated. His kids came to see him. The court granted limited appearances for his children. They didn't see him that way. And he just has too much pride to let it go. So go ahead and let the African-American, the black lawyers be the front for you, and use whoever you want in the back to make sure your procedures and your deadlines are met. But I just don't think committing to testifying at this point makes sense.
All right, everybody, you heard it here. You heard it first. We made a lot of predictions as it related to the Diddy case from all our lawyers of how this was going to play out. And guess what? Including myself, we're seeing it play out. All right, be sure to hit that like button because our likes did go up, but they're not liking to what we got as viewership. Hit that subscribe button. If you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you're not, share. Hit that share button. Also, don't forget to turn on your notifications and jump down in the comments. This is a part of the show that we're going to go to answer you, the jury's questions. Starting with first up, Cheryl R. Lee. Welcome. Thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate it. Rudy L. Hey, Al, good to see you. I missed the Magic Trio. Oh, I do too. Believe me, I do too. ATAS Sham 72. Did you guys hear Diddy fired his attorneys? Yes, I think Attorney Redwine addressed that, and they might hire her. All right, Connie Tang. Child, who chose that pick of Naomi? Our shady bailiff. We have a shady bailiff that he knows that wig is sitting back there.
Oh my God, that wig. Oh, I never knew her hairline goes back here.
And that one too. I have to, in true defense, I used to hang out with Naomi Campbell. What a fun person to hang out with. When I tell you living a supermodel life, that woman does not skip a beat. All right, Sonny Clark, is Trump doing the same thing? Who wants to take that?
I think they're referring to not going to jail during appeal, maybe? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think they're talking about Jussie and Trump like being out there running for president and all that.
He posted a bond. He posted a bond.
He posted his bond, yeah. Okay, T. Witt said, as a trustee, does she get to take payment for managing the trust? Well, not 90%. Not 92% of the money raised. She can't. All right, we talked about Elise Silvestri. Asks, is the ring considered a gift? We spoke about that. 901 Cash G says, is it me? Or do these people with money go out of their way to show their love just to renege on their promise? It's giving sham. Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yes.
It ain't just the rich people out there reneging on love. Let me just say.
All right.
Okay, Attorney Turner, please keep your personal
You are a
Please
beautiful
stay-
black
stay-
woman. You just wait your time.
non-biased in the court, please. I appreciate it. All right, DESDES17 said, why is Donald Trump still walking around? Because he posted bond. Sonny Clark, but algoriters, was his crime really that bad? He just told a lie. You talking about Jussie Smollett? I'm assuming. I think the reason why, for me, this is my interpretation in the court of public opinion, why his was so bad was the manipulation of the public sentiment. Like, he really knew that we were in a very sensitive environment as it related to race relations in America. You guys remember this was when the George Floyd decisions came down on the cops and all that type of stuff. It was just an ugly, ugly time as it relates to race relations. Anybody want to add in as to also why it made it super ugly?
They offered him a lot less time. The reason he got the 150 days is because he refused to apologize. They were going to give him much less time. They were going to give him probation, a 6-figure fine, and let him serve no jail time. But he absolutely refused to apologize and acknowledge that he lied.
But remorse, Judge.
Line, there was also a scandal. So the first prosecutor had worked out some shady plea deal with him. That's also part of his on 5 years. Yeah. And she ended up losing her job because she was seduced by the lore of the family and everything. And so somebody set that aside, and then it got reopened again, and they started talking about some real punishment, as Attorney Redwine was saying. So this case is like, he sullied it with what he said, accusing those people with the MAGA hats and trying to incite race riots in Chicago. Like, that's the other thing. So you're right. That added an element to this that was most unfortunate, given it was, I believe, 2021.
Right. Brian, what did you want to add?
And also remember, a factor in getting a sentence is remorse, right? So if you go in court and the judge believes you're remorseful, you can get a lesser sentence than if you're sitting there holding your head high as though you didn't do anything wrong. Once you were
I would be crying. I would be crying. I would snot would be rolling. I would have all. I would go into seizure, baby. I'm not going to prison. All right, how did he pay his attorney fees for this long? Yeah, that's
flat
a
rate.
very good question.
Because it's flat rate. Criminal law, it's flat rate for like the initial, and then there's another flat rate for the appeal, right, Brian?
Yeah, and we also take discounts for famous cases. Like, if we can get our face on TV, instead of a case being 20 or 30,000, you'll do it for 10 and 15 because you want some smoke.
Okay, Kendra Jones, I think this is an incredible question. Can Diddy use a mental defect defense for any of his crimes or accusations?
Wow. Probably not. I mean,
I don't know if he can use mental, but counselors, how about drug abuse and drug addiction?
Drug abuse and drug addiction do not negate what's called mens rea. So unless it is, and I'm digging deep here, Judge. Wow. First of all, you'd have to have a history of mental illness. Okay, you'd have to be diagnosed with and I'm not talking ADHD, bipolar. That ain't gonna get it. I'm talking you have you are Down syndrome,
schizophrenia,
severe Asperger's, and you stabbed your sister. You're still going to jail, but it's going to be called civil commitment. And they're going to rehabilitate you for the next 10 years and then maybe let you out. So when people see TV, I claimed I was temporary insanity. That don't go as far as you think, people. It's really tough to get that one done.
So I guess do you think, though, that he might be able to weave a story that would attempt to explain, like, not as an absolute defense, but as a reason why people should try to believe him now when he testifies and says, you know what, I was strung out. The freak offs had me all jacked up. It was the baby oil. It was the meth. It was the cocaine. It was the heroin. It was all the stuff at the same time. I just had a drug cocktail and I used to freak off and get violent, right? Freak off and fight. Like, could he maybe at least try to weave that?
Nope. I'm going to inject. You could have, if the day that you got arrested, you didn't have drugs on a nightstand. And not just regular drugs, but a cocktail of drugs on a nightstand. Yeah, attorney.
What's it called? What was it called? Watusi. What's it called? Watusi.
Yeah, what's it called? What's it called? Some Tusi?
Tusi. It's called Tusi.
Something
he's-
Tootsie.
He's
Something
on
Tootsie.
drugs now.
Wait a minute.
I'm saying.
Attorney Redwine, what was the Tootsie used for?
The Tootsie Cat.
Tickle it.
The
No.
pussy. Oh, the Tootsie. Wait, do I have a Tootsie or do you have a Tootsie?
No,
Al?
no.
No,
They
his
came
drug.
in his hotel and found a pink powder, and they
They call
testified
it-
they believe the thing was drugs. The street name of that pink powder, which is ketamine mixed with cocaine, is called Tootsie. Okay.
Right.
No
was
way.
asking you-
So he has
Attorney
pussy
Redwine,
and Tootsie.
Attorney at Redwine, I was asking you, what was the Tootsie used to get access to?
The pussy.
But y'all,
Y'all
this
are-
That's just how it works.
is too.
That's just how it works.
Attorney Ross's point
Because the pussy
before,
gets you
though.
loose. So you just bust it wide open and you tell them, bring it back.
Oh,
bust it
Lord.
wide open. Y'all remember that
Oh,
song? That might be too
don't.
low class for you, Al.
Okay.
Oh, I'll send you the video.
She was in the club. She was in the
Give us
club
a
dancing
clip.
Lil
Yeah,
Jon
send
in
us a clip.
2004. That was
Let
apparent.
the Baylor play it.
Before that I think we should come back to is what's happening to Diddy's mentality in prison, right? Diddy ain't built for that prison life. He is not Suge Knight, right? That is not his place. He has no street cred in there, and we don't know what's happening to him. Like the other Tootsie might be. I mean, I don't know. Things might be happening. Things might be happening.
Let me tell you what he's doing, Shaitan. Literally, he is buying it. Now he's in a private area. He's got remember Bill Cosby.
Oh, that's
separate. Like they have. If Diddy were to get stabbed in prison, God forbid, I hope it doesn't happen. If he were to get stabbed in prison, the Jeffrey Epstein, huge public liability for that building. So he is separate and apart. But he's buying stuff. He's got commissary. He's buying stuff. He's paying people off. Trust me. He's gonna be all right. He'll be all right.
Hope it's not baby oil. All right, Jen, the godmother said, what's the deets on the attorney who has high profile evidence? I know, me too. Jen,
I love her.
I want to know.
So-
I want to know more about her too. Red
Yeah,
Wine,
so
what you got?
I'll just tell you briefly about her. She's attorney Ariel Mitchell, okay? And she is known for, she had a famous lawsuit. She currently has one pending against Trey Songz, who Keke Palmer, our queen Keke Palmer herself, has already acknowledged that man was inappropriate and tried to put his hands where he shouldn't have with her. With this case, and then she also previously represented an alleged victim of Chris Brown's. But I speak to the fact that she really holds her professional responsibilities very high regard in the scene, because in the Chris Brown situation, it was later revealed that her client sent text messages to Chris Brown implying that what she told the attorney was not the truth. Oh, the attorney Mitchell, she immediately fired that client and withdrew publicly. So here,
I feel so
when
sorry.
she's saying she saw those videos, and this is
Then
a person
she's-
even
right.
more high profile than Diddy, and I believe her. And more than that, remember what she was saying is she said that she was reached out to by an entity who wanted to sell the tape. She refused to help them broker a deal because that would be illegal. Girl, that ain't illegal. So this is going to be really interesting to follow.
That's going to be very interesting. All right, everybody. Now is the time in the show where the attorneys give our verdict as well as the judge on the cases that we have covered. And you, the jury, can too. So jump in that chat. All right, first up, Naomi Campbell. Counselors, is she guilty or not guilty of doing too much high living and spending the money that was supposed to go to the poor people of her charity? Fashion for Relief. Attorney Simone Redwine, is she guilty or not guilty?
She's guilty.
Attorney Ross, guilty or not guilty?
Man, she's so fine, but she guilty. Come on, baby.
Attorney Turner, is she guilty or not guilty?
Oh yeah, you can't steal from the poor. She going to jail and going to hell.
I can't ride with you.
Not jail and hell. All right, I'm Al Reynolds, and I'm your judge here in the Court of Public Opinion. And Miss Campbell, you know I love you. Have spent many nights hanging out with you and enjoyed every second of it, because you are the epitome of a Black supermodel, or just a supermodel in general. But I'm going to tell you, you're not above the law. You're guilty. Guilty as charged. Next up in the Court of Public Opinion is Drake and Kendrick Lamar, guilty or not guilty of libel and slander going in both directions. Attorney Simone Redwine, what say you?
Not guilty.
Ooh. Attorney Ross?
I mean, it's all in the game. You can't be a thugged out rapper and accuse someone of libel and slander. Come on, what is that, bro? Not guilty. Stop it.
All right, Attorney Shatan Turner, what say you?
Like I said, I think Kendrick went too far. Yeah, he went too far, so he's guilty. Drake, I think, is probably within that hyperbole thing, but yeah, you can't call somebody a pedophile and call it a day and think that's cool.
All right, I'm Alan. I'm Alan. I'm the judge here in the court of public opinion, and I am going to side with Attorney Turner. Kendrick Lamar, you're found guilty of charge of talking too much smack against us light-skinned brothers that look good. Drake, you are found not guilty because that's what I decided. All right, next up, let's see who's next. We have Jussie Smollett. Oh no, let's go to Laura Gavin. Is Gilbert Arenas guilty or not guilty of fooling that lady and getting his money back? Attorney Redwine, what say you?
Guilty.
I knew it.
Attorney Shatan Turner, what say you?
It was brilliant, but yeah, he's guilty of that.
All right, Attorney Brian Ross, what say you?
Let me tell you something. It's a crying shame I wasn't here earlier because they butchered my boy. He's not guilty. Okay, he's not guilty. I'm sick of y'all. He's not guilty.
All right, I'm Alan. This is in the court of public opinion. What I'm going to find him guilty of is being smart. You are guilty of manipulating the rules, and the rules that we learned tonight, which I had no idea. Attorney Redwine, thank you for breaking that down with the contract. And then once the wedding doesn't happen, the contract's not there. And let me tell you, his good money paid for that decision. Way to go to Gilbert's. But y'all know Laura Gavin is my girl. Govon is my girl. I
remember I was in college dating this girl, and she wanted a flat screen TV, and I went and got her flat screen TV, and she broke up with me the next day, and I called and said, "Look, I just need to move her to another room," and took the TV back. Same concept. Stop playing.
Wow.
So you're an Indian giver too. All right.
Native American giver. Native American giver is the appropriate term.
Next up, Jussie Smollett. Is Jussie Smollett guilty? Is Jussie Smollett guilty or not guilty of dodging his responsibilities of taking accountability? Attorney Redwine, what say you?
Guilty.
Attorney Ross?
Oh, man. He's guilty.
All right. Attorney Turner, what say you?
Guilty.
All right. I'm Alan. I'm the judge here in the court of public opinion. And Jussie Smollett, you are guilty. Guilty of not exercising your best.
Go to jail, boy. Do your weekends. Be a man and deal with it.
Done this years ago, and I promise you by now we would have forgot about it. You and your family would be back on track, and no one would be still making jokes of you. That's my personal opinion. And in the court of public opinion, we're going to find you guilty, and can't wait until we see you serve your time. All right, last up, P. Diddy. I don't even know if we should ask this, but now is P. Diddy still in the court of public opinion? Is he still guilty or not guilty, Attorney Redwine?
Oh, guilty. Yeah, he's guilty right now.
Attorney Ross?
Court of public opinion, he's guilty, Judge.
Yep. All right, I'm Al. I'm the judge here in the court of public opinion.
You didn't ask me.
Okay, Attorney Turner.
Yeah, I told you last time. Just take a stamp and put guilty in red across his face for all discussions.
Shatan, you
here, no rights.
Attorney Turner, you just reminded me of your youngest son, where you were like, "Wait a minute, you didn't ask me." All right, I'm Al, the judge here in the court of public opinion, and Diddy, come on, bro, guilty as charged. All right, everybody, that concludes another night of the court of public opinion. I hope you learned something new that you can use in your situation that you're going through. All right, everybody, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you are subscribed, hit that share button, turn on your notifications, and thank you as always for participating in the chat and bringing all the great questions. Court is now adjourned.